Hey everybody, Joe here. It's Sunday, so I have a fantastic, crazy fantastic recipe for you today, and I'm really excited about it because it's not something I've ever done. It also uses one of our baking mixes, the scone mix, which is spiced and it's got some oranges in it. If you don't know about our scone mixes, it comes with a little instruction card, so you have all the information that you need on there, and all you need for the scones is a stick and a half of butter and 1 cup of cream or milk. I think it's actually 1.5 cups of cream. So let's get started. What we're going to do today is use this scone recipe to make a crazy chocolate babka. So I've never done this before, but this is one of these things that kind of like happened in my mind, and I'm doing an Instagram live because I don't know anything about technology and I wanted to do a longer video today, and I always get cut off on the other videos. So we'll do this together. I'm going to post it, and then I'll post the recipe below. So what I have is my scone mix that has spices in it and some chopped Italian oranges, which are so amazing. It's kind of dark in here today. Sorry about that. I hope you can follow along. Usually I press the butter through with my fingers. So if you don't have a food processor, don't worry. All you want to do is take your very, very cold cube butter and you're going to press it, squeeze it like this through the dough. You just put it in there, get your hands dirty, you're going to squeeze it through. This is what they do in the South to make really, really fluffy biscuits. You're looking for like flat pieces of butter. That's really, really key to get your scone to sort of rise really nice and tall. But we're going to do a little cheat today. So I'm going to put this in the food processor. Trusty food processor. So get your entire mix in there. Usually it makes 12 scones. It's going to make 1 really large babka, or you could probably put it in 2 smaller pans. So what I've done is I've cut up 1.5 sticks of unsalted butter. I like to cube it, you know, like little kind of 1/2 inch, 1 inch cubes, and then put it back in the fridge. You want it super duper cold. Same with the cream or milk or any dairy that you're going to put in. You could make these vegan if you want. Post a recipe. Let me know how it goes. So I'm just going to put the butter in, and then all we're going to do is pulse. Pulsing is important. You don't want the butter to be too fine. So I'm probably going to go 5 or 6 times. Let's see how that goes. So the pieces are small, but I feel a couple big chunks in there. So depending on how strong your machine is, I'm going to go a couple more. Okay, that's it. I'm going to put the mixture back in the bowl now. I really can't wait to show you this. Oh, and taste it. I did a sample this morning and haven't tasted it. Okay. Here we go. Spilled some here. Get it all in the bowl. Done with the mixer. Created a gigantic mess. So now your butter is mixed through here, which is perfect. Small little sort of like pea-sized pieces and a little bit smaller. You don't want them too big. If you see any big chunks in there, just kind of press them through with your fingers. But it's okay because we're going to swirl this into a crazy, wonderful chocolate mess. Okay. You know, I like to get my hands all mixed into here. If you're using really heavy cream, which I love to use, 35% cream, I'm going to go 1.5 cups with that. But if you're using milk, I would go 1 cup, especially if you're using, you know, oat milk or almond milk, something really thin, just do 1 cup. I'm also going to show you, you know, it depends a little bit sometimes on the weather. I'm going to show you a little bit how to look at the texture and just see that you've got the right texture going. So cream is in there. I'm going to mix it together with a spatula, and then of course I'm going to get it in there with my hands, you know. So you just want to be kind of stirring this together. Don't worry if at first it seems a little bit dry, that's fine. But what you want in the end is a dough that really sticks together, that's not too wet, because you want it to be really able to roll it out. You don't want it to be too sticky. So now my dough is kind of holding together in the bowl there. See? I'm going to get in there with my hand. I'm just going to kind of squeeze it together. I don't want to overwork the dough. I just want to kind of like be squeezing this. Again, this is the Zoe Ford scone mix, but by all means, if you have some kind of like biscuit mix you love to use, try this. Let me know how it works. So it's seeming a little crumbly, but it's going to come together. You just want to hydrate the flour here, and you want to get it to a point where it's holding together. I don't want it to fall apart when I'm going to roll it out. Good Lord, I hope this works. The idea is fantastic. Okay, so I feel it holding together now. You want to get all the little dry bits from the bottom. This is super important. And you know, sometimes it helps even if you read directions to really see what the dough is supposed to look like. So that'll be really helpful. And if you want to order the scone mix or the carrot cake mix, which is crazy delicious, or the chocolate chippers, which we did last week, you can just head over to zoeford.com. There's a minimum for us to ship out, but we do ship across Canada, which is great. You can send it as a gift, and for the holidays, we're gonna do like a box set of mixes. Trust me, it's gonna be great, and it will save you from a lot of headaches of baking. Okay, so see how this is like holding together now? I've still got some kind of crumbs, but it's all holding together, so that's what we want. And get everything out of the whole bowl. Martha Stewart used to say that. She was like, I don't want any letters from little old ladies saying I didn't get everything out of the bowl. So we'll just play Martha today. Okay, so now that I have this, I'm gonna work it a little bit. You just press it out. Now I'm gonna try and keep it sort of in a rectangular format because we're gonna end up rolling it into a rectangle. So I'm gonna press it out, and then I'm gonna actually fold it over. And what this is doing is layering your butter in there as I press with the palm of my hands. This is layering your butter in there, and you wanna get as many layers of butter as you can so that when you put it in, it's gonna rise up really nicely. I also feel like with this recipe, it's gonna be very forgiving because it's gonna be layered with so much chocolate inside. Okay, so I'm gonna press again into sort of a rectangle like that, fold it over again, and now I'm gonna be ready to roll. So get all my crumbs in here, okay? Get a really nice rolling pin. And you want to have a little bit of extra flour. Get some flour here. Just so you can dust your board, okay? Dust your board a little bit. You don't want this to stick. As you're rolling it, it'll get a little bit wet. Can we all see here? Okay. I never usually do a live. Hi, good morning, everybody. It's the afternoon, actually. Who knows what day it is? Okay. So now that I have sort of a block here, I have all my little oranges in here from the Zoe Ford scone mix and spices. Get everything out of the way, and I'm gonna roll. I wanna actually have quite a big rectangle, and I know that a lot of people who aren't that familiar with baking are always, wrestling with the shape. Don't worry about it too much. You're gonna roll this up anyways, but try as best you can. It's dough, it's sort of forgiving, so you can kind of press it back wherever it needs to go. What is important is that you kind of try and get some even thickness. You don't want one really skinny side and one really thick side. This takes a little bit of a minute to roll out. This is like my CrossFit, like out of breath. Okay, so we're gonna get into quite a large, I have a pretty large cutting board here. Give yourself a really large surface. If you feel it sticking, just lift it up, get some flour underneath. If you feel it sticking on top, it will get sticky. Don't use too much flour, just enough for just a sprinkle so that nothing sticks, okay? I'm not gonna worry about the edges too much here. Nobody will see them. And I'm aiming to get this maybe 1/4 of an inch thick, maybe a tiny bit thicker. No, I'd say 1/4 of an inch. If you know what that is, I'll show you as soon as I'm done rolling. This is probably sort of the longest part. Told you, this is like longer than usual video. Okay, so we're getting there, Keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling. What I love about this, a regular babka, you have to make a yeasted dough, a dough that's risen. It takes a really long time, and this will take you maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. And then you're gonna bake it in the oven for an hour, so that's fine. You don't have to do anything there, but this part will only take you about 15 minutes. It's so much less work. You don't have to worry if your dough is proofing. I do love me a real babka, but if this works out the way I think it will. Okay, I'm sticking under here, so I'm gonna put a little bit of flour. I can use a knife if I need to. Just get under there. Make sure, I really don't want anything to stick so I can roll it really nicely. Tiny bit of flour under this side. All right. Okay, we're almost there. Sometimes if you lift it up, then yes, then it moves a little bit better. Okay, now I did another video which I posted about making this incredible, I'm gonna call it like a caramel ganache. It's basically brown sugar, cream, butter, and a lot of really good chocolate. What we wanna do is spread this onto our babka. I'm gonna say you're gonna take about half of this, a little bit more if you want. Save some for tomorrow's toast. And you want to just spread this. It'd probably be good to use a palette knife, something that's easy to spread with and get it nice and thin. And you don't want to get it fully to each corner, but almost to each side. Can you guys see this? I hope you can. It's a little dark in here today. We're in like winter light, okay? So I'm just gonna spread. What I wanna do is have a really nice even spread all over. If you need more, take more. Makes about probably 2.5 cups, the recipe that I gave. It's just fantastic. Just tastes absolutely fantastic. Use it in other things. It's a really, really great recipe. Okay, so now I have a really nice thick, it's maybe too thick. I've gone a little crazy here. You can put something in here if you want. Chocolate chips, you know, I put cocoa nibs in everything. I think mostly because I like the texture of it. But, and in the other one that I did earlier this morning, I didn't put anything. Put what you like. You know, there's cinnamon already in the mix. But if you want, you can put a little extra cinnamon. I happen to like a really cinnamony babka. So now the super fun part. I just love this part. This is fun to do on the weekend too, where you can get kind of messy. We're gonna roll this. I want you to roll really nice and tight though, okay? So starting from the back and rolling forwards. The first part is a little bit tricky, and then you're just gonna kind of roll forwards as you go. Keeping it tight. It's like really tight little sleeping bag, right? If it's sticking on the bottom, don't worry, just take your knife, loosen it up from the bottom. You don't really wanna have any holes. I've got some sticking here. Okay, no problem, just help it along. Squeezing a little bit as you go, and hopefully none of it is squishing out the front there. Okay, and you wanna take the seam that you've made there and put it on the bottom. Now I've got chocolate all over the cutting board. I'm gonna push my edges in a little bit. This is so exciting. Okay, next thing that's gonna happen is, let me clear some of this away. So I want you to take a parchment and cover a loaf pan. I have a really nice sort of a Pullman pan. Anything you have that's gonna fit this in, you can squeeze it in, don't worry. So I'm gonna be using this really, really nice, really squared sort of a pastry tray. And I've lined it really nicely with parchment, and make sure you have no holes. You don't want anything kind of oozing out. I'm also putting it on a tray because the last thing I need is like a disaster in my oven. So then I'm gonna take my beautiful babka scone that I've just made. Hope you can see this. And I'm gonna cut it right down the center. It's gonna reveal all the rolls. And then the fun part of sort of braiding it. Okay, so I'm gonna do it into 2 halves here. You can see that, let me hold it up. So now I have the half roll. You can see all the little orange bits through it from the Zoe Ford scone mix. And now what I'm gonna do, can you see this? Let me move this for a second. Move this forward. What I'm gonna do is lay one piece directly, make an X, one on top of the other. And then I'm just going to fold over, under. This is very easy, and you kind of can't screw it up. You'll never be able to tell once it's baked. Over, under, and I'm gonna kind of push it there. Over, under on this side. I'm gonna kind of push it there, and that's it. Now I've got to get it into my tray in one piece. Okay, bring the tray back. I'm gonna lift really, really carefully. 1, 2, 3, into the tray. Press it in. Fits perfectly, covered in chocolate. That's great, okay. Fits perfectly in there, and then if you want, you can put some extra stuff on the top. On the other one that I did, I put some, it's very traditional sort of Jewish babka to have like kind of chocolate chips or something on the top. So I'm just gonna cover with chocolate chips on the top here. It's like really never enough chocolate. If you wanna put something else on there, go ahead. I wouldn't suggest any dried fruit on the top. It tends to like really, really dry out. So, God, it's so dark in here today. Winter, sorry guys, I'm gonna get some lights. Okay, so this is ready for the oven. I'm setting my oven at 425, but I'm really gonna watch it, and you wanna put this absolutely on the lower shelf in your oven, 425 for 30 minutes, and then you're gonna cover it with a really small piece of foil. That's just so the top, anything you put on the top doesn't really get burnt. I'm gonna cover it, and then I'm gonna turn it down to 375, and I'm gonna cook for another half hour. You really wanna check at the end of that whether it's done. You can kind of push on the top or put a pick through, get a sense whether it's cooked inside. It does take a little bit of time for the heat to kind of get right through to the middle, but you definitely wanna have it on the lower shelf. Make sure you're getting a lot of heat kind of coming right up from the bottom. It'll help it kind of puff up. And I'm gonna get this beauty into the oven, wish it well. Look how gorgeous that is. And it really took no time. I'm gonna put this in the oven. I'm gonna show you the finished product. in you go. Bye, baby. And here we have the finished babka. If you can see this. Woo, still warm. Okay, finished babka that I made earlier. And I have not cut it open yet. You're with me on a perfect experiment this morning, so I'm gonna cut it open. Let's see what's in here. So don't forget, small piece of foil after 30 minutes, and don't forget to turn it down. I'll put it in the recipe. Oh my God. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna cut this open. I'm a little nervous. I'm gonna cut it close to the end where I think it's for sure done. Okay, cutting it open. Voila, there you go. Scone babka takes no time at all to make. Amazing orange pieces in there, lots of spice mixed through. Don't forget, it's our Zoe Ford Spiced scone mix. You can order it online at zoeford.com. And I'm gonna show you guys lots of tricks on how to use our mixes, but this is epic. I'm sorry it's so dark. It's like I'm baking in the dark here. It's very, very dark. But save some of this delicious chocolate caramel for another day. I think we might start selling this. And enjoy, guys. I hope you make this all the time. And I'm gonna post some photos. Head to zoeford.com. We ship across Canada, all of our little treats. Great for holiday presents, great for any kind of like girlfriend presents. And sign up for the newsletter at zoeford.com. And the link is in the bio. I don't know where to point. Somewhere, the link is in the bio. And we'll see you next week. And sign up for the newsletter. You'll have the whole recipe in there. Bye.